having a fiddle or a fiddler or Lior as part of the production?
Okay. Well, this you want me to come closer? Okay. This will take a minute.
Oh.
20 years ago, exactly 20 years ago, the rabbi of the Wilshire Boulevard Temple, which is a very big synagogue in town, asked me if I wanted to prepare something for the Slichot service, which is like a preparatory time before Rosh Hashanah, and it's traditional that you have a kind of inspiring entertainment in connection with the service. And I wanted to do it, but my wife was pregnant with my son, and the due date was right before Slichot. So I thought, well, I don't want to do anything where there's a rigid rehearsal period. I thought, okay, I'll do a one-man show. But what can I do? And the next day on public radio, on the car driving into work, they were talking about this new compilation of the works of Perets. And I hadn't really known anything about him before. So I went out that day and I bought the book, and I did a few stories, but just a few stories a few years ago, 20 years ago. And we had, they found someone who played the violin just a little bit, nothing like Lior. Yeah. And then when I met Lior, when I met him, he went right to business. He said, okay. He said, let's not talk. I'll play for you. So I said, okay, fine. Yeah. Instead of taking a meeting, let's get right down to it. So, and then as soon as he played, I thought, wow, this is brilliant. So.
And what does Perets mean? You're Israeli. What is Perets' significance in the Israeli culture?
Good question. Truthfully, I know the name, but not too much more. And I fell in love with this guy right now, hearing Matt doing these stories. I read the stories, and it's so much better when Matt does it. It's great already, but it's just so much better. So I just loved it. I have one thing to mention about what Matt said when we met, about your previous question. It's funny because when Matt suddenly gave me a call, said, are you interested? I have this show, I got your name from someone, are you interested in reviving these stories of Yud Lamed Perets? I immediately said, wow, that sounds a good opportunity. Said yes. The only problem is I didn't tell him that 10 days later, we already had our flights scheduled to move back to Israel. And here he's contacting me right now.
With his wife and 2 children.
With my wife and 2 children. Obviously, I didn't tell him that, because if I would have told him that, he would say, never mind, I'll find someone else. So I said, okay, let's meet. We met, and I didn't tell him this yet. I said, okay, let's just get started. Here what I do, this is what I do, that I love the whole idea. And then I told him, listen, I just wanted to know that in about a week, we're leaving. That's it. So we need to get everything done in this week. So immediately Matt brought a photographer, and we had 2 rehearsals, very intense rehearsals. And as soon as we were on the flight, everything was already set. I came obviously a few days earlier to complete everything, but sometimes, especially when people know what they're doing, it can actually go pretty fast and without long rehearsals. And so Matt gave me the idea what the stories are all about. Immediately I brought nigunim, tunes that are somehow related. Most people don't know, but we actually chose the nigunim very carefully in order to connect them to the stories.
How do you suppose a show like this would go in Israel? You suppose it would catch on? It could catch on?
I would love to do that in Israel. There is actually English-speaking audience in Israel also. I assume the stories are also in Hebrew, but it will take you probably more than 3 months to memorize them.
Wow!
But I would love to bring it to Israel. Can be great.
Good. Stop and